HustleDreamProduction.
Alright you guys, so before you start cutting, what you want to do is comb through the waves first, alright? That way it lifts the hair off the scalp, which makes it easier for the hair to run through the blade. Also, by combing through the hair, you can get an idea of how the waves are going. Alright, if you're combing the wrong way, the waves will show you which direction you need to comb in. Because if you're not going in the right direction, the waves will split and you'll start seeing the scalp instead of the fullness of the hair. So during my client consultation, my client wanted a 2.5 on top. So I got the 2 guard with the lever open, and I'm just going with the grain, making sure I go in the same direction that I combed in. So notice how I'm not going all the way up to the crown area because we want to leave that area thicker. When it comes to wavers, that area is always the thinnest, the lightest. It grows super slow, so we like to keep that area as thick as possible. So I'm gonna come behind that area with a bigger guard. So when it comes to maneuvering around the hair, you have to be ambidextrous, and which means you have to be able to learn how to use both hands when cutting. All right, I got my left hand going, and when it comes to the right side, you don't want to use your right hand because that puts you in a weird position. So if you're in school right now, you want to make sure you learn how to use both hands. That's going to save you when you're out in the field doing this in real time, and it cuts down on your time as well. So right now I got my 3 guard with the lever closed, and I'm going around in that crown area, knocking the hair down, paying attention that I go with the grain around the crown. The worst thing you could do is that you run the clipper straight through the crown and you pat your client and leave them with a bald spot. That's what you don't want to do. You want to make sure you're coming outwardly from the crown. So now that you got the hair down to the length that your client wants, you want to make sure you do a brush session. This lets him know you are on your stuff when it comes to just knowing what you're doing, making him feel comfortable, safe, and that his waves is in good hands. Now, setting in my bald line using my Babyliss FX trimmers, I am going to set this bald line in a triangle-like shape, and I'm going to do it as low as possible. He wants a mid taper, so if I take that point up too high, I'm going to have to fade above that point, so I don't want that. So I'm going to keep it as low as possible. So after that, I'm gonna jump right in with my 1 guard open, and I'm gonna go up around that triangle-like shape, trying to keep that shape consistent as much as possible, but knowing that I'm not gonna be perfect in it. The reason why I go in with the 1 guard right away is because it gives me a clear indication on how high I need to go up. Now with the lever open, I'm gonna go up halfway, which I set in the 1 guard open. I'm gonna go half of that and use my corners as much as possible. Make sure I go around that triangle-like shape. So I decided to put back on the 1 guard and clean that area up a bit. I really want to make sure that that area is at the 1 guard length. So I'm gonna go up same width, just cleaning it up with my corners. Now with the 2 guard open, I'm basically just debulking that area at the top. I'm not really setting in a guideline, I'm just clearing it out so the transition runs seamlessly. Now with the zero guard closed, in a flick out motion, using only my corners, flick out that middle line. And don't be afraid to use both corners, all right? Don't confine yourself to using only one corner at one angle, all right? You can use the left corner, the right corner, whatever position that feels comfortable for you. So if and when the zero guard close doesn't work and it doesn't seem to take out that middle line, I always like to go back with my lever open, do some corner work. It's kind of like doing some detail work and just cleaning up those areas where I see bulk. So now with the lever closed in a flick out motion, flick out that bottom line. Now keep in mind, I'm working inside the triangle like shape and flicking outwardly. So I'm not really, just working up and down. I'm actually working from the inside of the triangle, flicking out. That way you'll still keep some of that hair on the side to where you can line it up and it all flows together. It can line up with the beard line and everything. So remember to work inside that triangle like shape. That way you'll keep that burst look. So now that I did my steps, it's easy to see which areas where I need to work on. So right now I got the 2 guard on and I'm basically debulking the top. I really want everything to flow a little bit better. So also, I'm going to close that lever on the 2 guard and scoop out as much as possible, getting to blend in like I want it. So I see that even the 2 guard close is not getting it to flow like I want. So I got my 1 guard with the lever open and I'm just using my corner work, making things flow together nicely. So now here is where you refresh your eyes. Look in the mirror, use the mirror as your your eye refresher. What I like to do is look away from the blend for a second and then come back. Also use the mirror as a way to check my blend as well, but I really love to rest my eyes. So I rest my eyes and I go back in with some corner work with the lever open, with the lever closed, just anything that can perfect this blend as much as possible. I'm gonna do it. Now when it comes to fading the beard, I use the same steps, it's just going downward. So right now I'm using my lever open to create that first guideline. Then I go in with the number 1 with the lever open. I'm going down about, this one is not even a 1/2 inch. On the lever open, I did a full inch, but this one's not even a 1/2 inch. Next with the 2 guard, with the lever open, just clearing out that bottom, trying to make sure everything flows together nicely. Now with the 0 guard close in a flick out motion, flick out that middle line. Notice how I'm going against the grain. A lot of times not every person's hair grows up and down. Sometimes it grows sideways, so sometimes you got to cut against the grain sideways. So that's what I'm doing right here. Now when it comes to the top, close the lever in a flick out motion, just go downward when flicking out that bottom line. So I noticed a lot more bulk at the bottom that I need to clear up, so I put on my number 2 guard and lighten up that bulk area at the bottom. Now that I got the blend pretty much how I want it, I'm just going in and doing some detail work, debulking those dark areas. Now as far as the back, it's the same exact steps. I'm gonna be quiet and just let you guys watch what I do. before lining my client up, I like to spray hairspray in my client's hair, just on the front line and the back behind his ears. That way it locks the hair in place. I blow dry it, and you know, when I go in with the liners, it could be real crispy. So I start from the middle. Normally I would hit the vertical bars first, but in this case it just looks better as far as, you know, on camera. So I go in, I start in the middle, and I work my way to the corners, then line the vertical bars and the C-cup. Now the reason why I start in the middle first is because there's a shorter distance between, you know, the full line. Like say if you were lining him up, you start from left and go all the way to the right. The chances of that coming out crooked is greater than starting from the middle. You're giving yourself shorter distance from each side. So when I'm working on the vertical bar, how far I dig in depends on that hair at the bottom of where you would start the C-cup. That area always tells me how far I need to go as far as lining him up. You want to make sure you keep the lineup natural as possible, but sometimes you gotta push the edge, you gotta push the limits, okay? Like, not telling you to give a full pushback, but you gotta know when and how far, you know, you could go with lining somebody up. Now, a lot of times I would take a comb and just comb the hair back to reveal his natural line. But a lot of times when you're dealing with wavers, especially in his case, you get that overhang to where you have a lot of space to work with, because as wavers, we brush our hair and then we might not get a haircut for like 2 or 3 weeks, you know what I mean? And you'll get a lot of overhang hair laying down because all we do is literally brush for just hours. Listen, let me tell you why they call me 360. When they sit in my chair, I spin them in a full 360, and they come out looking like,
damn, son, where'd you find this?
YouTube, this is the cut. And if you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, Hustle Dreams Production, that's my brother, he does all my beats. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description below. Also, if you want to know where you can find any tools that you've seen in this video, links will be in the description below. Otherwise, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. My Snapchat is Jeezy360 and my Instagram is 360Jeezy. But it's your boy 360Jeezy, and I'm out of here.